The fourth race of the series brings us here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, known worldwide as the Brickyard, due to its unique construction when back in the fall of 1909, Carl G. Fisher repaved the circuit with 3.2 million bricks. A yard of bricks at the start-finish line is the only exposed part of the original surface left at the historic 2.5-mile track. Of course, the track is most famous for being home to the legendary Indianapolis 500. Run since 1911, the Indy 500 is the biggest motor race in the world, drawing a race day crowd of over 400,000 people and a worldwide TV audience of millions. The Indy 500 is the centerpiece of the series, and victory here is the crowning achievement of any racing career. Largely unchanged since its construction, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has 4 turns, each banked at 9 degrees and measuring exactly 440 yards from entrance to exit, linked together by a pair of long straights and 2 short straights to form a rectangular-shaped 2.5-mile track that fits the boundaries of the original plot of land almost exactly. The uniqueness of the track is matched by its qualification procedure, which is designed to filter out the large number of entrants down to a field of 33 drivers. This is the only race in the season where a poor qualifying time could lead to you being bumped off the starting grid. Cars here are set up with the low downforce speedway wing configuration. With practice, it's possible to take the circuit flat out. But don't forget, though, this is a tough race, and victory does not go to the driver who leads the field at the first corner, but to the one who most effectively combines stamina, skill, and strategy. Pace yourself, take it easy, and soak up all the atmosphere and drama of the greatest spectacle in racing.
So the starting grid for the Indianapolis 500 is Jill DeFerrin starting on the pole, Tora Takagi in the center, and Sam Hornish on the outside. Tony Kanaan on the inside of row 2, along with Al Unser Jr. and Scott Sharp, Kelly Racing teammates. Row 3, Kenny Breck on the inside. Scott Dixon, the points leader, in the center, and on the outside is Dan Weldon. 4th row, Brian Herta, David Land, who is me, and on the outside is Greg Ray. 5th row, Thomas Schechter on the inside, Sarah Fisher in the center, and Alex Barron on the outside. 5th row, Buddy Rice on the inside. Middle is Eddie Cheever, teammates for Red Bull Cheever Racing, and AJ Foyt on the outside. Buddy Lazira, Lord and Savior, on the inside of row 6, along with Glenn Lucy and Dario Franchitti. Row number 7, Robbie McGee, Tony Brenna, and Dave Francis on the outside. Alan Lord on the inside of row 8, Elio Castroneves in the center, and Robbie Buell, Giafoni, Carpenter, and Vitor Mira. And the 11th and final row, Mark Taylor on the inside. Oil Wheelwright on the outside, and John Trickle on the extreme outside. 33rd and final position. So here we go, ready to run the Indianapolis 500. Can we pull off a victory? The goal is going to be work to lap 20. That's when the fuel window opens. That's when pit stops can start occurring. So if we can survive to that point, I think we're going to be in good shape. And then we can go racing. So here we go. The cones start the race, actually. You can see, there you go. But you can't actually overtake until you get to the line on the initial start. That changes on the restarts, where you can pass whenever you want to when the green comes out. But we got a really good run on Brian Herta there. And we're going to be up a position in turn 1. And the green is out, and we are racing at Indianapolis. Down the backside of the course. Herta tried to get to the inside that time. Couldn't quite do it. He tries the outside. We block again. Flat out through turn 3 on lap 1. Yes, please. I will do that. Thank you very much. That's actually going to give us a pretty good run here. Maybe to Weldon, who is the car directly just ahead. I'm not running in any kind of fuel conservation mode, because generally these Indy 500s are wreck fests, particularly at the back of the field. But right now we're clean, mean, and green. I was a little bit slow coming out of turn 2 there. Kind of hurt the exit speed down the back straightaway. Won't need 6th gear this time around. In fact, it looks like somebody had been in the wall in turn 4, but for whatever reason, no caution. Must be like Motegi, where I managed to get upside down, but nobody decided that that was worth throwing a yellow for. So we stayed green at Motegi. Apparently we stayed green with whatever issues happened here at the 500. So now I'm just trying to hang with Dan Weldon there in car number 26.
You are 0.6 of a second ahead of Ray.
And we're not running too bad right now. Car feeling quite good. I wish I didn't have to run the high fuel mixture, but we're just going to have to deal with that fact right now. We'll easily make it to the end of the race on our fuel, especially with making another pit stop as we go almost 250 miles an hour into turn number 1. Don't really need to be doing that kind of speed. Ooh, as we get a little bit into Weldon there. Oh, and he's going to lose it because I got into him. He gets into the wall. Did he save it? I think he saved it. Wow. Feel bad about that. No, there's a yellow, and it's a crash ahead. A crash in the front of the field between the leaders. So the first issue started here where I got a big, huge tow on Dan Weldon, 250 miles an hour into turn number 1. Then I just booped him coming into turn number 2, and that's where Weldon lost it, backed into the wall, but was able to continue on without having any trouble. Now further up in the field, these guys weren't as lucky, and it takes the first 2 cars out of the race. Takagi tries to make an incredibly optimistic move on the inside of Gil de Ferran and takes them both to the wall. On board with Tora Takagi, you're going to be able to see what he saw heading down into turn number 3 at 243 miles per hour, making contact, a little bit optimistic, and then a heavy, heavy crash on the outside of turn 3. Another crash occurred under the yellow flag in a direct result to what just happened. Gil de Ferran pulling down in front of Robbie McGee, who will get into the outside wall. Everything's okay there, but he turns back into traffic and takes Felipe Giafoni with him. Okay, the green is going to come out this time around as I try to desperately warm up my tires. You can see Kenny Brack just ahead. Now, the key to this whole thing, at least on this restart, is going to be timing this restart correctly. And the way we do that is hanging back just a little bit and then gassing it in turn 4 just as the leader takes the green flag. By doing that, we'll be able to make up a few positions without getting a penalty. Of course, that's the key, not getting a penalty. Because if you get a penalty, you're done. So let's see. The cars are going to start accelerating here on the back straightaway. I'm going to hang back just a little bit because they're going to slow back up as the rest of the field kind of packs up behind. I don't need to just pull too hard after them. In fact, I'm going to continue to try to warm up my tires. Wait for it, wait for it. Now I'm going to go. I'm going to go for it. I may have a good run, I may not have a good run. Maybe a little too far back. No, actually we're going to have a really good run. Green is out. And our fantastic run is going to make us all the way up into 4th or 3rd. But the car understeers on cold tires on the restart. But we kept it together. And now we set off in pursuit of Sam Hornish as we block both Scott Sharp and Al Unser Jr., both teammates. And Unser was trying to get to the inside of me there. That's a little optimistic, if I may say so. So I'm glad he didn't try that. In fact, I'm going to try to defend all the way down to the bottom, and if they pass me on the outside, they pass me on the outside. I think I can actually use Unser if he does indeed get around me here as a drafting partner. Oh, I was on the apron there. I had to really back out of it because I knew Dixon was there as well as Unser. So our car isn't particularly the best in traffic,
Car
unfortunately.
inside. You are clear.
May have gone too conservative on the downforce, a little too much in it. Can't really hang with anybody. But we're gonna have to deal with it. We can take front wing out of it,
Car on
but the
your
rear
left
wing
side.
is
Inside,
pretty set.
inside.
So I'm hoping with whatever changes I can still make,
Behind the race leader.
both in the car with the weight jacker and with the wings on the last pit stop, the only pit stop, we'll be able to rectify the problem as Scott Sharp kind of slows us down a bit heading down the back straightaway. As we run in his draft, give him a little bit of a tap going into turn number 3. This is a bit crazy here in this part of the field. And we're going to get a good run on Sharp this time by.
Car on your right side.
Pull to the inside.
Outside.
And actually, I think we're going to get around Scott Sharp.
Still there. Outside. Still there. Still there.
And we do clear him. We do clear him. And now up to Dixon.
Now in 5th place.
Again, got to be really careful in turn 2. Turn 2 is maybe the most difficult turn on this track in this game because it's bumpy on the outside of the turn, and that can cause
Car outside.
issues.
Still there. Outside.
As I had to
Still
back out
there.
behind Unser.
Outside. Still there. Outside. Still there.
Unser running a very
Still there.
unconventional
Still
line
there.
through turn 4,
You
I
are
have to
clear.
say.
You are now
He
in
ran
4th
way
place.
up to the top of the track, and now we're going to go
Car on
underneath
your right side.
Al
Still there.
Jr.,
Outside.
two-time winner of this
Still
event in
there.
92 and 94, and we
You
get
are
around
clear.
him. So now we set off once again in pursuit of Hornish and Kanan, two drivers who
6/10 of a second behind
would
Hornish.
eventually win the Indianapolis 500. In this game, they're not credited as winners because 2006 and 2013 had not happened yet. But we are absolutely flying right now. Coming up right to the back of Tony Kanaan. Get in that slipstream there as he tries to pull out and pass Hornish
You are
down into
3/10
turn
of a
1, and he
second
will
ahead
have
of
the move
Unser.
done. And it looks like
You
maybe
are 2/10 of a
the
second
downforce
behind the race leader.
settings of my car weren't a bad choice after all. As we get further and further into the fuel stint, the car's starting to really pick up. So I'm going to actually lift off the gas, put the fuel mix down just a little bit. I'm going to try to conserve behind these guys,
1/10 of a second behind Kanaan.
if I can. See if I can get the run off the corner. Up into 6th gear early. Now we kind of fell back a little bit, so I need to crank the boost up again
You are 4/10 of a second behind Hornish.
and get up there behind Hornish again. Need to stop running in 6th gear too. That's kind of going to kill me a little bit. And here comes Scott Dixon, the points leader.
Car on your left side.
In
Car
tow,
on your
he
right
has
side. Outside.
his
Outside.
teammate
You are clear.
Thomas Schechter. That was Unser trying to move around the outside of me. And we run high in turn 3 there, or turn 4. Now down the main straightaway once again, bringing the whole field with us.
Car
As
on your
Unser
right side.
was looking down to the inside.
Outside.
I
Still
decided to
there.
block him because that was more
Still there.
dangerous.
You are clear.
I prefer a car pass me on the outside because I can defend there. I don't have to worry about a car running me over on the inside. In fact, I'm going to drive Dixon all the way down to the grass and allow Unser to the outside.
Outside. Still there. Still there. Still there.
And he's
You
going to
are
fall
clear.
behind as we get up to the back of Sam Hornish. A little too close to the back of Sam Hornish for my liking. And we're going to put the fuel mix all the way down into mix 1. Because we don't need to
You are
use a ton of fuel when we're
1/10 of a
this
second
close
behind
drafting with other cars. And out of turn number 2, up into 6th early.
Car inside. Car
Follow
on your
TK.
Right side. Still there. Outside. Still there. Outside. Still there. Still there.
Almost get
You
into
are
Dixon.
clear.
That was really close.
Outside. Still there. You are clear. Car on your right
When you're
side.
this close in
Clear.
traffic, you can run really conservative on the fuel. So that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Car outside. Clear.
But now we're kind of struggling. So we're we're back up into 7th as Dixon tries to make it 3 wide into turn 1, and they pull it off. Dixon goes to the lead around Hornish and Kanaan. Wow. Ooh, and we were in the bumps in turn 3. We were in the turn 2. We were in the bumps in turn 2. I was wise not to try to pinch the car down in the corner, otherwise it would have spun. Ooh, that was really close. So now underneath, the 31 car of Unser Jr. trying to pull out down the main straightaway, and a yellow. Yellow, what happened? So this involves Elio Castroneves. What happens to Elio? Is he going to be an innocent victim or the cause of this accident? Let's see. Down the back straightaway, everything happening hunky-dory right now. Through turn and contact with Alex Barron. He gets into the inside wall, barely into the outside wall, upside down, and then, oh my. Oh no. Poor Elio. Big, big, big crash. And involves a few more cars as well. Let's watch from a different perspective. You can see Elio get into the wall, get absolutely nailed, and then the 34 car gets loose and into the inside wall. Holy cow, what a crash. So, we are in the pit window, and the rest of the field is going to come into the pits. We're going to go green flag this time by. Now, you're going to notice that I am not going to stop. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, I don't want to get held up by cars entering the pits. And number 2, I think I've still got 14 laps of fuel on the absolute minimum setting. So what can happen here is I can run a really fast pace here, coming back to the green. They're not going to black flag me for this. At least I don't think. Warm up the tires, get a good run, and have a good 10 extra laps on the fuel. I can also short fill coming back, or when we actually do make the pit stop, to be able to really go for this win. We're going to try to Rossi it. In fact, it's not really Rossiing it because we're not really gambling anything except for track position. And if the yellow were to come out, we'd be a lap up on the field anyway. So here we go, putting a lap on the field. Or at least most of the field. We're actually going to come out in traffic, which is a bit annoying. So here we go. We're going to come out right about where we left. But the field is at least going to be spread out. And again, most of them are a lap down now because of the harebrained scheme I'm trying to hatch. Now, will I pull it off? Who knows? So here we go, behind Thomas Scheckter. Hopefully we can clear him here pretty easily. 241 into turn 1. I've seen 249. I don't know if it's in this race, but I've been up almost at 250 miles per hour in the draft at this track. So it can get pretty wild when you get going that fast at this track. Down, nice apex, a little bit wide off of turn 2, or turn 3. And Schechter's trying to get to the inside. These are lapped cars battling with me, by the way. Again, I have them lapped. So I really wish they weren't racing me as hard as they are, but I guess they want to be back on the lead lap. Would something happen? And I may just be smart and let him around here. Well, I was trying to let you around the outside. And in fact, I think, well, I thought Scheckter had a run there, but he did not make the pass. So we're just going to hang around the bottom. And I'm going to continue to hang around the bottom. They can most certainly pass me around the outside if they want, which they are able to do. And Sharp goes around. So now maybe we can start running in the draft of Mr. Sharp as we run way too wide in turn 2. I lifted off the gas again because that was just going to be absolute calamity through there if I had stuck with the throttle. As I let Schechter around as well. Again, not a big deal to let them around. I'm definitely going to take some wing out on the pit stop because we are hurting for straight line speed, as you can see. Case in point, with Kenny Brack just getting an absolutely enormous run on me and pulling around. Still got 8 laps to go on the fuel.
You are 32 seconds ahead of Varnish.
And as you can hear, we're in pretty good shape right now at the front of the field. Leading the Indianapolis 500. It's nice to lead. If we don't indeed pull this thing off, it is nice to lead. Don't know who's exactly behind me. Looked like a white car, but that could be any number of drivers. I probably didn't need to lift there, but I did anyway. A little bit high in turn 2. You may have heard the tires squeak just a little bit. I'm going to try to run some nice, fast, consistent laps here for the fuel stop, but the tires are definitely worn to absolute heck from a lot of yellow and running slowly and running fast. Running hard in traffic kind of wore the tires out. The longer we go on this stint again, the less we're going to have to use, or the less we're going to have to ask of our tires in the last stint, and that's kind of the important one. So as we come down the back side of the course, once again, still 5 laps to go on our fuel. We ran a 2:28 the last lap, so our pace is starting to increase. That's what we need to do. We need to run nice, easy, consistent, and fast speeds. As we're up to lap number 30, so 20 laps to go in the Indianapolis 500, or the Indianapolis 50. And the car behind is Brian Herta. Was wondering what white car it was, and it is indeed Herta. So as we come down to it, we're going to be able to probably put less than 20 laps of fuel in this. I do want to run in fuel mix 7, so that's going to mean we're going to have to put a little more fuel. As I clipped the wall there just a little bit, thankfully just white walled it. Be able to put just under 25 laps of fuel, I think, in the tank to be able to absolutely 100% make it no problem. And of course, we do have to worry about cold tires on coming out of the pits. So hopefully that'll all be hunky-dory as we continue down the back straightaway. 3.6 laps to go before we have to make the stop. As we inch up on Kenny Brack here. We don't have to pass him, but if we can start using his draft a little bit, that won't be the worst thing in the world. As we get up to 237, do we need 238? Probably should have grabbed a gear there, oh well. We had to lift in turn 1 anyway, so it's not going to make a huge difference. A little bit high in turn 2, don't need to be quite that high. And still down the back side of the course. Now we actually have enough draft to actually use 6th gear.
You are 30 seconds ahead of Varnish.
Probably a little too high in turn 3, but we hold it together because there's no real major bumps in turn 3, thankfully. 2.2 to go. We'll see what the fuel is at the end of this lap. Whether or not I'm going to need to peel off early.
Pit next lap.
In fact, yes, the spotter's saying pit next lap. And unlike NASCAR games, I actually trust the spotter to know fuel, because we're not going to make it otherwise. Because if you can notice the 0.6, that's where we would be running out at this point in the next lap. So I'm going to go kind of easy on the bars there. Pull off the circuit, hopefully be down to 60 in a good time. So as you can see, we're going to take 21 laps of fuel. We took about 50. It was at 2. I've gone down to 150 on the wing. So we're ready to go. Just a little bit of adjustments, not too much. In the pits, 4 tires and fuel. This is just excruciating because this crew always seems so slow. Getting passed by somebody. I'm not sure we quite had 30 seconds in the pits, but you saw the wing adjustment. And we're back out into the race. So we are now 8th position. Not sure if the strategy was the best, but we'll at least be able to run now flat out till the end. As we fall to 13th position, we're just going to have to see what our race pace is like. Obviously, we're going to have to be a little bit careful in turn 3 the first time, as the field is coming up pretty quickly behind. Alright, so Sarah Fisher to the outside. That was Buddy Lazier behind. And now in mix 7, let's go for it. There's Fisher moving to the outside. And can we take it flat in turn 1? Yes, flat-footed. So now it's just going to be a matter of picking our way through the field as best we can and seeing where we end up here at the end. The yellow would really help us, to say the least. So get just an incredible run. Actually able to pass Herta before turn number 4. And just using the draft so effectively underneath Foyt. 15 laps to go and 18 laps on the fuel. So right now we're good. We're definitely going to be running down to the bottom of the tank by the end of this thing, I would say. But I think that's a good problem to have. Definitely taking the wing out was a good idea. Wish I'd had the car like this the entire race, but we're going to have to deal with what we have. Coming up behind one of the Red Bull cars. Try to get that big draft down the back, or down the front straightaway here. That's Cheever just ahead. All the way down to the white line. We can run down there. Oh, I tried to get around Cheever. He blocked me just enough. I killed our momentum, unfortunately. So we're going to have to get Cheever going down into turn 3. We move up to 12th position. We start working our way up towards the top 10. Big draft down the backside. I wish I had shifted into 5th. I hadn't even realized I was in 6th the whole time. So let's try to get Barron here. Of course, Barron had the contact with Castro Neves. And we're going down to the inside of Barron. I should have downshifted again. There we go. Big draft into turn number 3. And we clear Barron. So up into 11th. We have at least 3 cars we can pass up here. Probably we can get up all the way into the top 10, I'm guessing. 15 or more, way past the top 10, probably the top 5, and maybe we can even win this thing if we go fast enough. It's a possibility, I would say, with as many laps as we have left at the moment. Have to be kind of careful through there. Thankfully I was in the correct gear. Side by side, wheel to wheel with Greg Ray. We should clear him here in turn number 3. We've got all the grip in the world, it seems like, with our wing adjustment. Car just handling like a dream right now. As we head down the main straightaway into 6th. 10 laps to go, coming up 2. And we're going to probably take 8th from Herta pretty quickly here. If we can get that big draft going here, down the back side of the course once again. 237, 238. Downshift. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. He was a little bit slow through the short chute, and now he's going to try to pull the inside. Gotta be dirty. And we go through turn 1. This time we're going to clear Herta, no problem. So now it's open spaces, wide open spaces, until the next car, which is Kenny Brack, just up there the road a bit. Can see the black dot that is Brian Herta. Or excuse me, not Brian Herta, but Kenny Brack. Had to lift off. I had a bad line going into turn 3 going on there. So now into turn 4. It's like a qualifying lap, except for the car is much more planted to the ground. 237 across the line. That was a 230 mile per hour lap the last time around. We got 3 seconds to make up on Brack, so long way to go here. With 8 laps to go, we have 8 positions to make up. So can we do it, is the question. In a 6th. Just trying to keep those consistent lines here. Move it out to the wall just a little too close that time, I would say. Very bumpy down there in turn 4 at the bottom of the track. 236, 237, upshift. All the way down to the white line. And I'm starting to really close in on Brack here. So I think we're going to get him very shortly. We're running in the 231 mile per hour range. So these are fantastic speeds for race conditions. If we couldn't win this thing, I'd say we chose the right strategy here at the end to kind of have the bad stint be the first one and have the really strong one be the second. It's just a question of how many cars can we pass before the end of the race, and will there be a yellow is another major question. Yeah, you can just hear the gap absolutely closing very rapidly. Brack, Scheckter, Sharp are the 3 cars just ahead, and then the top 5. So we've still got 6 to go. Plenty of time to make up this ground. So closing in on Kenny Brack. We're 8 seconds behind the overall leader, who is Hornish, as we go on now to 6 laps to go. We'll get the 5 next time by, and it'll be crazy from there. So into turn number 2. Had to just get lift out of the gas. Oh, that kind of killed my momentum. The inside of Kenny Brack. Have to really go to the inside there in 3. Still not around him, and finally we get him. We got held up by Kenny Brack for about half a lap there. And you can just see how bad it hurt our momentum, because Brack is trying to go back to the inside. Not quite going to get there. So we really got to be careful about momentum killing there. It was so crucial. That was such a crucial moment. It just killed our momentum. So now coming up behind Thomas Scheckter. And then it will be Sharp, and then I think it's Dixon. So we've got a lot of cars to try to pass here. And a short amount of time to do it. Had to lift off just a little bit there. We'll get a good run on Scheckter. Clear him down to the inside. 4 laps to go. 6.8 on the fuel, so we're good fuel-wise. And we're good speed-wise. So it's just a matter of making up as much time as possible. So I think we may be able to get Sharpie here into the short chute. I didn't time it particularly correctly. But we're going to pass him going into turn 4. That's a bit of an optimistic move, but I was able to pull it off. Now Sharp's going to pull up behind in the draft, but he's not close enough to make that final move. And we are up to P number 5. Now trying to close in on Scott Dixon. We are absolutely flying right now. Can we take the 4th position? Maybe 3rd, maybe 2nd, maybe 1st. In fact, that's Unser Jr. Al Unser Jr. Yeah, we're 8 seconds behind the leader. Probably not going to get all the way up to Mr. Hornish. He seems to be the guy who is dominating this race right now. Dixon's in 2nd. 2 laps to go. Spotter was impressed with the lap. Down to the inside of the course once again. Oh, this is perfect. This is the perfect place to get a run on Al Jr. Get all the way down the back straightaway. 245. Perfect. We can actually close in on Kanaan. Don't know if we'll be able to pull off a move as the white flag is out at the Indianapolis 500. For us as well. We've reeled in 2 seconds in that last lap between us and the leader. It's probably not going to matter, but it doesn't even look like we're going to be able to get to Tony Kanaan. It'll be very close, I think, between us and TK. Can we get Kanaan for a podium spot at Indy through the short chute for the final time? We're absolutely flying, but Hornish looks like he's going to win his first Indianapolis 500, and we are going to come home 4th. Fantastic. So 4th position, it was Hornish who would take the win over Scott Dixon, Al Unser Jr., Tony Kanaan, then me, and Al Unser Jr., Scott Sharp, Thomas Schechter, Kenny Brack, Brian Herta, Buddy Rice, Greg Ray, Alex Barron, Eddie Cheever. Down through the rest of the field, few more notables, our Lord and Savior Buddy Lazier, Tony Renna coming home 19th. In fact, Dan Weldon moved all the way back up to 14th after getting crashed early on. And here are all the cars that were out of the race. Tora Takagi early on, McGee, Giafoni, DeFerrin, Trickle, Castroneves, Lucy, and Alan Lord was the final retiree. 2 laps down was Vitor Mira. Ollie Wheelwright was the 24th and last car on the lead lap. So that was the Indianapolis 500. Easy for me to say. This was a long race. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.